Welcome back to Journey Principles. I'm Steven Scoggins. And here's the thing. The three greatest questions in life you're ever going to ask is, who am I, why am I here, and what do I do about it? And if you can't answer these questions, then this video is going to help you understand what that purpose-driven passion is and how to discover it for yourself. So stay tuned. One of the greatest problems I think we all face in life is this sense of being unseen, unheard, or undervalued. Well, if you work towards it well enough, you can actually erase that once and for all. Why? Because you want to avoid that enough is enough feeling on a regular basis. First of all, I'm going to share with you the three biggest purposes that I'm aware of. The first purpose in life that I feel like is very powerful is serving the person you used to be. The second one after that is serving the person you once loved. And the third one after that is possibly serving the person that you once couldn't save. Think about the different ministries and the different types of businesses and nonprofits that came out of like breast cancer, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and others. These are examples of different types of principles. But how do you find that for yourself? So one of the greatest ways in order to do that is to actually do principle number one, which is write your epitaph now. Now, I'm not trying to be morbid and I'm not trying to wish you death or nothing like that, but I have found that when you're clear on what you want your life to mean, that it's much easier to take that meaning and transition it into long-term action over time. For example, one of those things that I hope to hear is, here lies a man who never gave up, who set out to change the world and almost did. Those are the types of things I hope to see on my own thing. That part of that too is also creating a personal mission statement. Mine's always been, be focused on the relentless pursuit of changing minds and motivating hearts. Those are different things that no matter what I do, control how in which I actually seek to make my contribution to the world. And you can too, all right? So let's take that forward a second. Make sure you take the time and actually come up with your own epitaph, your own personal mission statement, and actually utilize that to set you up for principle number two. Principle number two, be intentional about creating a legacy that outlives you. Let me say that again. Be intentional about creating a legacy that outlives you. More times than not, there are far more lives hidden inside of you that you're not fully aware of, that you can't even transition to or can't even think about. One of the most important things you can do is understand that your overall contribution, if you do it well, will also inspire, encourage, and change lives for years to come, especially if you have children, right? They have to have direction, they have to have purpose, and they have to have clarity in their own identity. Well, the only way you can give that to them is to learn it yourself. And here's what I mean. Make sure that no matter what you pursue, it comes with the added attribute, the added flavoring a little bit like Tabasco sauce or something, if you will, to add value to your everyday life with the end in mind, right? You go back to the epitaph. My epitaph is here. Here's the value I want to outlive me. Here's the legacy I want to create, and that will help you actually determine what your overall contribution will be. And that gives us principle number three. Be mastery-based and mission-driven. Remember, go back and think about the greatest purposes in life I already shared with you. Serving the person you used to be, serving the person you once loved, and serving the person you wish you could have saved. All right? Those three areas are massive areas to create a massive mission-driven life. There is something inside of you that maybe you haven't tapped into that is there. I know it is. Why? Because I've watched it for thousands of people we've interacted with. They all share one thing in common. When their perspective changes towards mastery and mission-driven, everything around them changes. Why? Because no daily effort is ever wasted ever again. What would it be like for you to wake up, put your feet in your shoes, and actually attack the day because you knew where you wanted to go? Well, the only way you're going to do that is if you clearly define the mission that is hidden inside of you with principles 1, 2, and 3. So make sure you do that, and that'll help you set it up for principle number 4. Give back to the people who were once like you. A lot of times when I'm doing these videos, I'm doing them intentional, I'm doing them with heart, and I'm being authentic to the core. One of the reasons I do that is because I'm hoping there's another Steven Scoggins out there that's watching this video right now who just needs just a little bit of encouragement, a little nudge, a little push, a little empowerment, a little passion to help find and discover what they were meant to do. You also have that same gifting inside of you as long as you continue to grow yourself in such a way that you can learn to develop a level of mastery that allows you to teach those same things to other people. It's vital. One of the ways to actually have a legacy that outlives you is to go back and serve the person that used to be you, right? That's what, greatest purpose number 1? Think about that. Who in your life right now could you actually go and mentor right now, even with your current level of experience, and actually give them a level of encouragement that maybe they've never heard before in their life? Not too long ago, I actually got a comment on Instagram after doing a live stream with Evan Carmichael. And one of those things that came in was, hey, look, I just want to tell you how much this meant to me, how much that I can just feel that perseverance and digging in deep and never giving up matters, and how does that work for me? That's the kind of response you're looking for when you're trying to help people change your own lives. The only way you get to that point is having the diligence and having the willingness to turn your pain into power and continue to progress with your own personal development. So when it comes to making the ultimate contribution, you're going to want to serve the people who are just like who you used to be. So make sure you're leveling up all the time, okay? Let's go ahead and get into principle 5. Principle number 5, steward for centuries, not a lifetime. Steward for centuries, not a lifetime. Consider this, all the world's foundational heroes or people that made history, maybe they're not people we would see as heroes, but maybe a villain. No matter who they are, they changed the world, and it was done by one person. And many of those people did it over the centuries. You take Ulysses S. Grant, for example, right? He was the general that helped Abraham Lincoln actually bring about the abolishment of slavery. These types of people have the resources and the wherewithal to know that what they're doing today can affect legacy long after everybody else is gone. We still talk about these people today. In some cases, we have various holidays built around these people, like Martin Luther King and others. Think about this. These people shared their time, their talent, their resources, and their equipment, and even real estate in some cases, that laid the groundwork for many, many legacies after that. One of the greatest traps you're ever going to have in your life is settling for a life that you never wanted in the first place. Well, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to tell your life where you want it to go. And one of the best things that you can do in order to do that is to make sure you're laying the groundwork and the framework early on by focusing on the century and not the lifetime. You want your efforts to outlive you at a greater level for up to 100 or more years rather than the simple 80 years that you might be on earth. So take that. Use that and make your relationships and your contribution and everything around that matter for years and years and years and years to come. They call it the generations stewarding the generations stewarding the generations, okay? And if you do that well, you'll be set up for principle number 6. Now, principle 6 builds off a lot of the same things we've already talked about because there's a common trend, if you will, a common theme, and that is learning to serve and learning to serve big. So principle number 6 is nothing more than becoming the mentor that you once needed for yourself. A lot of times we get lost in the overall struggle of life and the overall struggle of things we're trying to go through, and we're not focused on the long-term effects of the decisions we're making today. So many of us, like I myself did, would benefit most from actually having a mentor that actually helps them succeed. So while one of the other things that we've talked about is basically becoming the mentor, the person you admire most, the other side of the coin is making sure that you can actually become the mentor you once needed for yourself. What it does is it gives you an aspiration. So think about a moment, time in history, for example, that when you go backwards, you wish you had someone to get you out of a jam through mentorship and education, more so than just getting you out of a problem, right? The person that you wish you could go to. For me, many times nowadays, it's my grandfather. Both of my grandfathers have passed, and both of them at times gave me enormous wisdom. I want to become so much like my grandfather, the Silver Fox, that I illustrate his legacy inside of me by helping other people do the same thing. Now, what that'll do is that'll help you understand the attributes of yourself that you want to encourage and that you want to amplify so you can keep winning as you continue this contribution journey, this service lifestyle that's actually going to end up taking your impact and turning it into an income. Now, as you can imagine, if you're going to make a lasting impact for centuries to come, and not just the years that you have on the earth and all this kind of stuff, and you're going to serve the person you used to be, or serve the person you once loved, or serve the person that you couldn't save, or something like that, one of the things, the ultimate thing you're trying to do is principle number 7, which is leave the world a little better than you found it. At the end of the day, if you can leave even your micro world, the people around you, better than when you first arrived on the scene, then you have done an amazing thing on the earth. At the same time, if you're capable of doing it at scale, fantastic, rock it, do it, right? Remember to use the principle, if you will, that comes with this, the hidden side of it is called the compound interest effect. For example, here's what I mean. A mother and a father raise a child. A mother and a father struggle and are not able to fight through a marital situation and they get divorced. That affects the child. It affects the child in how they look at the marriage. It affects the child in how they look at relationship. It affects the child in trust and respect and things of that nature. Now imagine, if you will, that the parents are able to work it out together, okay? And the child sees that. Well, what happens is there's a compound interest effect. There's a compounding of showing the child that it's possible to work through conflict and actually have a loving relationship. Now that's just one example of how one decision, one action, one result, one service, one contribution can turn into something really, really big and awesome and powerful. Another example would be my mentor, Steve Myrick. You guys have heard me talk about him numerous times on many of these videos if you've been following us for any length of time. Steve Myrick was a home builder. He was never on stages. He was never traveling the world speaking. He was never writing books. He was never doing those things. But he changed my life. And while you may or may not ever get on stages and you may or may not ever write books, even you, even I, even the people around us can help others change their life and leave our world just a little better than we found it. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed these 7 principles. Make sure you take the time to go ahead and click in the description and get the video there, or check out one of the videos on your screen right now so you can keep your progress going, keep moving forward, keep winning, and keep making life mastery possible for you and everyone around you. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, it's Connor with the Journey Principles. If you want to learn how you can blend your profession with your desire to contribute to the world, you should check out our whiteboard lesson we did on the 8 mission-driven marketplaces. Also, we put together an entire Life Mastery 101 playlist right here on YouTube, so feel free to check that out as well.